externalize a little bit. So one of my favorite things about Spades, watch Spades videos and streams, are that he takes the time to download his demos and review them and try to learn from his play. And that's something that, like, I honestly don't know how often that is talked about or done by other players. Like, if a player is trying to get better, what they do is watch a bunch of YouTube videos, or they go on Reddit and then read like tutorials and stuff like that, which is important to do because you can learn stuff from them. But you're applying someone else's experience to your play. And while that's important to learn new things, you're not learning anything about yourself and how you play. And that's really hard for you to analyze when you're in the game, right? Because we're supposed to be thinking, as players that are playing competitively, we're supposed to be thinking ahead of what's going to happen next, what we're going to be doing next. Are we buying next round? What's the strategy going to be next round? What am I not going to do next round that I did that round? Like, you know, there's so many different things that you have to think about upcoming that you don't have time to think about what you did previously, or what just happened, or what was going on with your teammates and how you could have reacted differently. So it's really important to just stop playing for a little bit. Stop playing, download one of your videos, and analyze your play. And when you go back and watch one of your demos, you're so surprised by how you play. Like, you don't think that you're doing those things. You don't think that your crosshair placement is bad, but when you go back and look, it is. There's these little tiny scenarios where in your head you're thinking about where might this guy be right now, and you're not focusing on where your crosshair is. You have to be able to do both of those things at the same time. So we're going to go watch one of my demos, and I'm just going to analyze it and be really, 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 really overly critical of the mistakes that I made. This is the type of scenario where you need to be overly critical. If you're going to learn anything, if you're going to take it to the next level, you have to be critical of everything that you do. If you're not realizing the small mistakes that you're making, it's just going to seem like the players are better than you. So if you have a really tough game and you don't look at the really minuscule decisions that you made, crosshair placement, movement, body placement behind obstacles, and, you know, kind of in reference to where the enemy is, if you're not critical of those things and you don't try to fix those, every time you have a bad game, you're just going to say, oh, the player is cheating, or, oh, the players are 1,000 times better than me, this isn't a fair match, or, oh, my teammates suck, right? If you're not trying to find those tiny little mistakes. And this is something that Day9 had a really, really amazing video about. It's his pylons and probes video, which is like, if you're not looking at the really small, basic, I guess just the basics, the essentials of playing competitively, then you're not realizing, when you go and you actually die or you lose, you have a different view of what actually happened. So his concept, in Day9's concept in the probes and pylons video, which you should go watch, by the way, even though it applies strictly to, even though it's for StarCraft 2, it applies to any video game. Any video game that's played competitively, it applies to it. So he's just talking about, like, making mistakes with money. So if you're not spending your money, you think you have more money than you actually do. And if you're not spacing things out with time, then you think you have more time than you do. So in Counter-Strike, if you aren't working on your crosshair placement, or you're not always paying attention to your crosshair placement, when the guy pops out and kills you, you think that that's like a hack shot, or you think that that was a crazy luck shot or something. But if your crosshair had been in the right place at the right time, you could have reacted better to it. There's a billion more examples, and I'll try to go over those examples as we kind of watch it. But there's going to be a million of them. Like, I'll be constantly saying, look at my crosshair placement right now, it's off, because I make that mistake constantly. Watch one of my games. I haven't done this in a while, so I don't even remember. I'm trying to think of a good game. I'm just going to do the last game. I mean, it may be a stupid idea because it was a good game that I played. But I think even at your best, you should be able to pick out the mistakes that you made. I like the way this looks now. This has been updated. I don't know when it was updated, but I haven't played for 10 months, so it looks good though. I'll let that download. Alright. So we're just going to be watching my camera view, I guess. And we'll watch our teammate that's alive to analyze that.
No more talking. Now we fight! Middle.
Crap, I don't remember any of the commands to pull it up so I can fast forward, so we're gonna have to sit through the warm-up for a minute. I never take warm-up seriously. I don't recommend that to anyone. Like, if you need to warm up and get your fingers ready and get your mind set for being a patient shooter, then take this time to do it. But for some reason, I just never take advantage of it. I have this, I guess, feeling in my head that if like I am trying to warm up and I'm not playing well in warm-up, then that's going to carry over for some reason. Like, I always get ripped constantly in warm-up, so I just don't try anymore. I don't know if there's much to be learned from sitting in your spawn and getting ripped. Oh man, I gotta get the, I don't know how I'm gonna pause this. Alright. I'll have to get that command.
Let's go now, my brothers. We will dance on your
So my basic buy is armor and decoy. I just like to have it. I don't like to get aim punched. Okay. Fuck. I want to be able to pause this so that I can talk about it. Oh, this was that ridiculous round where they tried to knife me twice. So that was a really silly round. Like, we should have never won that, but it actually launched us into at least a 4, I think between a 4 and a 6-0 start. It was so silly. Like, they never should have done that. And I didn't for a second ever really stop trying my hardest. Like, okay, so I gotta pause this for a second and then figure out what the commands are. So the guy said trying very hard, right? I don't play competitively to not try hard. Sometimes I goof around when I'm tired or we're winning by a lot, but you can't call someone to try hard when you're playing competitively. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you commit to playing a video game for at least 45 minutes. And you're playing at a high level, obviously. Like, it's Legendary Eagle Master, so we're not bad at this game. Like, we're not a bunch of baddies that are just playing casually. We're all good players. But you're not trying? Like, that's such a silly mentality. And I hear that all the time. Like, whenever whenever we'll win a round or something and the other team's messing around, like they'll just say that we're trying too hard or something. But everyone's trying. You don't play competitively to not try. So it's just something that they're saying because they were upset with themselves for losing that round. That's what it is. I need to get the command so that I can pause it. It's like something gooey. Sorry, give me a second. Demo playback options, Shift F2. Okay, great. Oops, that's the wrong button. We got rounds down here. My bad. Okay, we'll leave this down here. So let's go to the next round. When you say that you're not trying and competitive, you're lying. You're just upset that you lost. Okay? Okay. Alright, so we won that round. So I'm playing B. And this round, I guess I'm playing... Okay. So this is a round where they're rushing B. And I hear them rushing B, and there's a little bit of panic right now because I haven't had time to really set up. So I made a mental error when I came into the bomb site or when I left spawn, which was that I'm not thinking ahead of what they're going to be doing, right? So if they lose first round, it's usually going to be something aggressive because they need to catch people off guard, right? If they're going to have any chance of winning an eco, it's usually they're going to try to catch people off guard. That's how ecos work, right? It's kind of rare that you have a good enough shot to outshoot someone who has an AK or some other type of gun, like a SMG or something, when you have a pistol. It's rare that you can outshoot them, so you have to catch them by surprise. That's either an aggressive play or it's a weird play like throwing nades and then taking another site when you have 5-on-1 or something like that. Or it's something like really passive where you're waiting for them to push. So that's the scenario where I should have been thinking, okay, there's a good chance that they're going to be aggressive right now, and especially in a bomb site where there's going to be less people, or it's going to be easier to take and there's less angles to kill from. So with that thought process, I should have been in sight ready to go for this, or I should have had a smoke down and pushed up to the smoke, or something similar to that. But instead, I'm sitting here kind of in the wide open, and I'm not in position, and that essentially leads to my death. So for some reason, I thought I have enough time to push up to this and help out my teammate, but I didn't. And then I just end up spraying like I'm a newbie. So that's the reason I die. Wasn't thinking ahead, didn't consider for a second, for some reason, just thinking about something else. I guess I was just thinking about how funny it was that we won that first round. But it's still not really an excuse. Like, get over the first round, have a short memory, let's go. Next round's up. Okay, I guess we have, like, weird lag issues right now on this.
Laying down smoke.
Maybe if I restart the demo, it might be better. It's kind of laggy. We'll see what happens, but... yeah, just have a short memory and get ready for the next round. I should have been in sight, ready to go.
Now we fight.
What is going on? Dear heavens. I don't have a freaking mouse. Jeez. This game gets jacked up. Sorry, guys. Get right back into it. I guess there's an update at 5 o'clock on a Monday? Tuesday? Yeah, there wasn't a 1.2 meg update. I'm sure that there's a sticker that had an incorrect pixel. Alright, let's try to go back into this for the third time.
No more talking. Now we fight.
Yeah, oh, there it is, okay. Alright. So, second round, yeah, I get ripped in sight. Bad positioning, wasn't ready, wasn't thinking about the round. So let's go to round 3. We did win that round, so we're up 2-0. Had enough money to buy, so I ended up buying full nades, M4, armor, head armor. So, I think I talked about this in the stream already, but the reason I play this angle, well, there's 2 reasons. First of all, I like this angle a lot. When they're coming into sight, they're not normally staring at this. It is a passive angle, so I can get smoked out real easily if the team does it. But it's a passive angle, and the reason I'm playing a passive angle is because I full bot and they're going to play really aggressive. So you don't want to be in a situation where you have 20 bullets and you're backed into the back of a bomb site and they have 3 guys coming at you with, 20 bullets per guy. I'm not going to have enough bullets to get all those kills in that scenario. So I want to play a passive angle, try to get some picks as they come into sight, and if not, then I can just retake with my team. But the last thing I want to do is spend all my money and then lose it in the back of sight because I didn't have enough bullets.
Bang. Smoke.
So we had bomb called at highway. So I'm rotating with bad crosshair placement there. I wonder if we can go back for a second. Doesn't matter. So yeah, when I'm coming up, I have no idea if we have an enemy that's near truck. So the fact that I'm just kind of running up there lackadaisically with my crosshair on the truck is stupid. The speed at which I'm doing it is fine. I need to get there as quickly as possible to help my team retake in that scenario. But my crosshair placement was bad. So I have my teammate up on there, so I'm not 100% concerned with A main, but I want to make sure that there's no one on a forklift. That's kind of my assignment right now.
Throw in a flashbang.
I know that I can't see anything coming from A main because it's smoked out now, so I have my assignment. It's fork in case they push under. The reason I looked down there like that was just so I could hear things. So crosshair placement is really important, but sometimes you need to face the sound in order to tell where it's coming from. So it's kind of, it's kind of an exception to the rule. Alright, so the demo's starting to lag a little bit more. I guess it's just the playback system kind of sucks still. Even though the game's been out for 2 years. But that guy, for some reason, didn't check in sight. I guess he made the assumption that I wasn't going to be there. So he slowly came around that corner. I was able to get him. And so right now, I don't know where this other guy is. So in most situations, I think I would have been a little bit more aggressive in trying to get around the site right there and see where he is. But sometimes I just have this thought, like, do the opposite of what I'm thinking I should do right now. Like, try to change it up a little bit and be a little bit more, I guess, have more control over the situation. Right? So I have less control over the situation if I'm being aggressive. I have more control if I'm being passive. And in being passive, I'm able to look at more of the bomb site, and I'm able to kind of listen for any sound that he can make and know where it is. So I'm backing away, and it ends up working for me. So that peek right here was a little bit too aggressive. I could have been just fine if I had gone straight back to truck, and then just waited for that angle, right? Because he has to plant, or he has to peek out there. And that angle, I have nothing to lose. There's no downside to that angle besides I have nowhere to go if he comes out and makes his shot, or if I don't kill him right away. So there's a small... I want to be close enough that I can run into sight really quickly if he plants, and that's why I didn't back all the way to truck. But I felt comfortable there because I have such a great angle that if he comes out, I can get my kill. And it worked, and sometimes I might miss my shot, and... and the next time I'll either do that and make my shot, or I'll go back all the way to truck, so I have some place to escape to. But again, there's exceptions to pretty much every rule in Counter-Strike. I had two options there. I could fall back to where I did and hope that I make my shot if he pushes me, or if he plants, then I can jet into sight really fast and take him, or I can go back to truck and play even more passive. And the upside to that is if I miss my shot, then I have some place to fall back to, and I won't get killed instantly. But the downside to that is that I can't push him quick enough, or I can't hear sometimes if he's making certain noises because I'm so far away. It ended up working out. I made my shot, which is rare for me. I'm a little bit late to sight. The assumption was that they were not going to be aggressive because it's a buy round for them. I can't remember what they did the previous round. They bought previous round. That's right. Okay. So they bought previous round. I apologize. That was wrong. They bought previous round. They bought third because they got a plant on the first round, and they ended up losing. So now they have pistols. So I definitely should have known that. But I still had my AK out as I was going into sight. So again, not thinking about what they're going to be doing in the upcoming round, I got there late. And luckily they didn't rush. So I got lucky.
Grenade. Flashbang.
Okay, so
Deploying flashbang.
I see my teammate go, I can leave. He's going to push through. He ends up getting a kill. This is kind of a giveaway round. Like, my team is swarming the bomb right now, and I kind of just don't really care. So what my thought process is at this point is that I have one responsibility, is to make sure that nobody comes through B backdoor on my team. So my team is swarmed kind of around bomb right now, and their spawn. Right now I'm being kind of stupid and I'm not paying attention. But then I realize I do, and then I make sure that nobody has come past me. So I have one responsibility, right? And that's to make sure that nobody's coming to get the bomb from behind. My team is not going to expect that because I'm in B, right? Like, I have a responsibility to not let the enemy come in through B. And this is just something that came naturally to me. Like, I understand that my team has swarmed around the bomb and that nobody has come through CT. So I have one responsibility at that point. Wonder if I can go back a second.
Let's go, people.
Okay. So we're actually going to go back and look at that and talk about the angle that I was playing. Okay. So I'm going to pause it right here. There's a very, very specific reason why I played this angle. So my one responsibility is to not let them come through B. And I'm watching the lower part where he can come through silently. So I'm watching CT or tree where he could potentially come through silently and I wouldn't know that he's coming there. So I'm making sure I'm watching that. And I've moved up a few inches instead of giving myself more cover behind this box here because I don't want him to come through heaven and shoot me in the head with like some tiny little angle that he might see. But if he dropped, I would hear him, so I'd be able to adjust to that angle. So right now, with this angle right here, even though I'm not watching heaven, I still have the sight covered. I would hear him if he dropped, but I'm watching the place that he could come silently.
Of course.
Grab your gear and let's go. Throwing smoke. Smoke. Grenade out. Fire in the hole.
And a flash for my teammate.
Grenade.
Not the best.
Grenade out.
Yeah, that was bad crosshair placement. I wasn't prepared for them to come. It was stupid. Luckily, I had a teammate that was able to pop out at the perfect moment and get some kills. But it was stupid. Like it was one of those moments where I wasn't thinking about what the enemy team is going to be doing in that scenario, which is they haven't seen anyone yet, so they're going to push through to that angle next to that box in B main. And I'm lucky that he didn't just pop me in the head right there. My crosshair wasn't ready. I had a nade out. It was a mistake.
Counter-terrorists win.
Alright.
I tell you, we kill them all.
Skating on cash. I can't believe the demo system is still this bad. That's amazing.
Laying down smoke.
Okay, so that was okay crosshair placement. I was keeping an eye on the place that they could come if they were going to push me. Bad crosshair placement as I come up there. I let that guy go because I didn't have a good shot on him. I didn't want to give it away.
Bomb has been planted. No.
Alright, so that guy was jumping, and the only thing that I could see was his head, and I obviously hit him with an AK, so I'm going to count that as a kill right there. That was kind of silly, but that's alright. Okay, so here's the situation. I know there has to be a guy in sight or near quad because he planted the bomb. There could be more, but I don't know that from this situation. I know that there's a guy behind Fork, and I know that there's a guy near Highway. Or at least it sounded like it was near Highway, based on my sound. My teammate calls that he's in Z, but he doesn't call right away. So at this point I think, okay, there's a guy Highway, there's a guy Fork, there's one guy near site or quad, and I don't know where the last guy is. So my thought process could be either I'm going to try to push into site here while I keep my eyes on Fork, or be patient and try to get the kill on Fork while listening to the guy who's coming Highway. Or I can fall back to Truck and try to wait for one of them to push. I mean, there's 4 guys versus 1. I assume one of them is going to start being aggressive here. But he called it. My teammate, I get killed from the guy that was Z, who I thought was highway. And my teammate called it probably a millisecond after, right before I died, rather. And so I told him in the voice chat, like, you gotta call it with more urgency. He was like, 1Z. Like, 1Z behind you, ah! Scream or something. But that's alright. 4v1, can't win them all.
I'm throwing a flashbang.
I guess what I should have done was fallen back to truck and stared at Z to make sure that I wasn't getting hit from behind.
Flashbang.
Nice.
Throwing a flashbang.
Alright, another retake on A.
I'm throwing a grenade. Grenade out.
That's the way we do it.
Good
Nice.
shot. It's good patience, good
Oh,
shot.
yeah. Laying down smoke. Fire in the hole.
So my teammate's pushing in. Honestly, I didn't think that was a good decision. So that's why I kind of didn't go with him. Which I guess maybe that makes me a bad teammate in that scenario. But I was kind of saying to him in voice chat, like, hold on, like, we're not going to go now. It didn't really make any sense for to go. Like, they have ops, we're going to be pushing, which means we have the disadvantage because we're running and we have to stop to be able to hit our bullets, hit our shots, and they have ops, and they have, like, space to shoot us. So I didn't think it was a good idea to go. And maybe I should have gone with them, and we both would have died, or maybe I would have gone with them, and we would have won the round. But in this scenario, I just decided not to make a stupid decision. If that makes me a baiter in this scenario, then I guess I have to accept that I baited my teammate. But, oh well. So there's 2 ops, 1v2.
Throwing smoke. Throwing a flashbang.
I just happened to look away at the wrong time.
Flashbang. Throwing flashbang.
At this point, I'm just trying to get there as quickly as possible. I'm not. So this is kind of one of those aggressive pushes that's kind of a YOLO situation. I'm smoked out to the point where it's gonna... How do I want to say this? I technically could have gone back around. Like, I could have gone Z and come around truck. Or I could have just waited for that smoke and stayed on highway. Or I could have gone around to A main. But I didn't really feel like in a 1v2 I have enough time to really do that. I'm usually more of an aggressive site taker. So maybe that's something that I need to consider for next time, right? So they had just planted the bomb, and instead of being uber stupidly aggressive like this and pushing through 2 smokes and throwing a couple flashes, maybe I should have just been patient and waited for that smoke to clear. So next time, I guess that's something that I'll have to be conscious of, is that I can be patient in this scenario. I don't have to be stupidly aggressive.
Terrorists win.
He ended up dropping his op and then getting the truck, which was a smart play on his part to not have 2 ops defending his site. I don't remember why we started switching up. Oh yeah, one of our teammates said that he was having a really hard time at A, so we decided to switch up. I was going to go up there, but I remembered my teammate had been up there a couple rounds prior, so I decided not to go up there, just in case the enemy team thought that that was a pattern, like that's something we normally do. I was going to play next to Forklift, to the left of Forklift where that white wall is. But then we got to pick at mid, so I had to watch our back at mid. Which is such an uncomfortable situation for me to be in. I don't know where they are. They could be immediately to my left. They could be just sitting there with an op at mid-main.
I'm throwing a grenade.
They could be anywhere, so...
Smoke.
I tried to play passive, and then
I'm
My teammates told me about bombs, so I had to rotate.
Throwing a grenade.
Smoked out. I really can't do much of anything here.
Throwing flashbang.
Bomb has been planted. Grenade! Smoke!
Be impatient, get smoked out again. So at this point, I think I just tell him, like, I'm gonna save. Right now, I'm looking down at the ground for a really long time.
Deploying.
Okay, so I guess in my head, I'm not thinking about my crosshair placement when I'm thinking about where I'm gonna nade. So that's something that I can work on. When I'm in the process of changing to my grenade and thinking about what angle I'm gonna throw it at, my crosshair could be anywhere. When instead it should be where they could come from, and then I pull out my nade and then switch my angle to where I'm gonna throw it to, which sometimes can be hard. But you have to envision where you're going to be throwing that nade before you take your nade out. Like, don't always sit there and like line it up mentally with your crosshair as well. Just do it mentally, and then do it quickly. Pull your nade out and throw it quickly. It's okay to line up some grenades in some situations. I'm not saying like there's an exception to what I'm saying right now, but you can see that like I'm staring at the ground for a good 5 seconds before I throw that grenade, and that's a mistake, right? If he pushes through that smoke, then I have to flick up, I have to change my gun, change to my gun and then try to kill him.
Flashbang.
And it's much easier if you're not freaking out and pulling up your mouse. If you have your mouse already there and you're just moving a little bit with your WSAD and then you pull out your gun and shoot him, that's much easier than having to flick up, because you could flick up to where he is and be in a completely different spot because you're kind of freaking out that someone pushed you through smoke. Some of this doesn't make 100% sense of what I'm saying right now. What I'm saying is have your crosshair in a good place while you're thinking about where you're going to throw a grenade.
Throwing a flashbang! Flashbang!
What do you guys think about the new stickers? Let me try to distract you.
Terrorists win.
So I thought I had good crosshair placement there. That guy, I did not react whatsoever to that guy coming out. And I'm not sure why. That may have just been like a reaction brain fart, but he absolutely ripped me. He popped out, and it almost seemed like he didn't even stop running and killed me in the head.
Let's get this done.
Oh.
Smoke.
So this is an aggressive. It's a somewhat aggressive save where I'm just kind of like buying that gun and pushing up there. So it's hard to criticize. It's hard to criticize much of anything. Like crosshair placement doesn't really matter because I'm not going to be able to. It's very rare that I'm going to be able to just hit a headshot with that gun, especially because I don't use it very often. I just kind of use it to jump out and get a really quick kill in the chest. There's so much recoil on that gun that I just like aim at the chest when I'm coming around the corner. I don't normally go for the head and try to get try to one-shot people with that gun. That's not what it's for. It has really fast fire. So you aim for like the lower neck and then hope that you get like a chest and a headshot. Alright, so I'm going to stop going over this match and take a quick break, and then I'll start streaming queuing again in competitive. But if I have to take something away from this match, it is that I have to improve on my crosshair placement, like in many, many different scenarios. And I have to improve on getting to my sight and thinking about what they're going to be doing. So in the scenario where I wasn't ready for them on the second round when they pushed, and I got killed by a pistol when I had a Bison. So I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't thinking about how they're going to be aggressive, when that's something that's very, very easy to tell what they were going to do. Anyone could have guessed that they were going to be aggressive on pistol round. And I wasn't prepped for it. I just wasn't in position. I didn't have my crosshair in a good place. It was bad. And then crosshair placement when I'm throwing nades. Like, in any scenario, someone can push around that corner and kill me. So when I am thinking about putting a nade down, I need to have my crosshair and my gun out until I'm ready to throw, and I've thought about where I'm going to throw it, and then pull my nade out and throw where it's going to go. And in terms of crosshair placement, just constantly thinking about where my crosshair is. It's okay to sometimes move your crosshair out of the place if you're trying to hear where they are. If you need to move your head to where they're coming from so you can tell if they're coming left or right or how quickly, that's okay to do, but make it quick. And then put it back in the right place. Like, sometimes when we're moving around a bomb site, changing positions, we're not always keeping our crosshair where it should be, where they could come out. And that's a mistake. But I think that's pretty much what we gained from watching this. There's a lot of small mistakes that are things that, should be habits at this point. They should be habits after years of playing this game, but they're not. Because, you have to be the type of person that wants to get better and learn, or else you're going to have the same bad habits that you always had. You may get a better shot because you play more. You may learn certain scenarios how to handle it. You may have more clutch rounds the more you play the game. But if you don't go back and really think about the uber basics and essentials of the game, then you're still never going to be... you're still never going to have that advantage on players that do work on that. So there's a lot of really competitive players that work on those tiny essentials that are going to be better than you. They're going to have the jump on you every single time that they turn a corner and you're waiting for them because they have their crosshair placement ready to go and you don't. So that's something that I'll work on for my next game when I jump into it here.